Welcome to the 2022 Winter Classic Student Cluster Competition Studio Update Show. Now, here are your hosts, Dan Olds and Addison Snell.
Welcome to the Intersect 360 Research Winter Classic Invitational Student Cluster Competition Studio Update Show. This is our preview show, Dan, our first episode covering our Winter Classic Invitational Student Cluster Competition, which is just about to kick off. What can our listeners expect to get from this show?
This show is going to cover every aspect of it. We're going to interview student teams. We're going to interview their coaches. We're going to talk to the mentors that are helping them along and giving them that fantastic HPC education. We're going to talk to our sponsors who make this all possible. In other words, we're going to cover every aspect of this like an Afghan covering an old lady on a cold day.
We've got the mugs.
We've
got the blazers.
Yes,
so we are all set to cover this competition. Now, Dan, this is a big deal. This is the second year for the Winter Classic Invitational, your first year since joining Intersect 360 Research. Tell everybody, what can we expect from the competition? How's it going to work this year?
This competition is radically different than any previous student cluster competition sponsored by any organization. First thing is staying the same, that we are going to be exclusively featuring historically Black universities and Hispanic serving institutions as our competitors. Now, little hint, we're not going to reveal all the competitors or any of them today. That is going to be for our next show.
I understand we will have up to 12 teams competing this year.
It will be more than 10. I can tell you that for sure.
All right. Well, stay tuned for our next episode where we'll have the big reveal, the selection show, the who's in. This is something I really care about, Dan, and something I really admired that you were doing. My whole career in high performance computing, we've been talking about how to increase diversity and representation in high performance computing. Yeah. This cluster competition addresses that directly. Let's not only help develop these skills, but also introduce them to the mentors, the sponsors. Let's build that job funnel up.
Absolutely.
And this is the future of high performance competing in this student cluster competition.
Absolutely. And we're also going to be bringing these kids to the attention of some of the biggest organizations in HPC. Some of these organizations, they recruit as far away as MIT and Stanford and Carnegie Mellon. And that's about it. They don't get out to these schools. We're going to get these schools out to them.
There's a lot of talent signed up here. So what do we expect? How's the competition organized? How's it work?
So here's the big difference. Most student cluster competitions have feature schools that have big HPC programs already, and they have sponsors helping them out, vendor sponsors and things like that. We're using a different model. What we're doing is, first of all, the competition is going to be divided into 4 different sections. Each one of those sections with HPC real-world applications and benchmarks. But here's the key. It's a virtual competition, right? We've seen those before as well. But all 10 teams are going to be working for 1 week with one mentor organization. 1 week, all 10 teams, or however many teams we end up with. But they will all be with that organization for actually 6 days. And that organization is going to be teaching them about the workload, how to access the systems, the tools that they have on it, and then letting them practice on their clusters until the final day, which is going to be typically a Saturday or a Sunday when the students have to do their final runs and turn in their optimized scores. The whole focus, the reason the architecture of the competition has changed is in order to give the students better knowledge, better background, better education. And
two great things about this that I love. One is when you go to compare the teams, it takes out of it who got what hardware. Exactly. All the teams are going to be competing using the same hardware. And then as you're pointing out, you get the training on this hardware. You're going to learn how to optimize this on this and then move to the next. So there's more exposure, more training for the students who are involved. And then from the competition aspect, it's a level playing field.
It's a level playing field all the way around. They're all going to get the same instruction. They're going to be running on the same hardware. We're going to see who takes it to heart.
And it separates out really the role of the mentor from the role of the sponsor, right?
Yes.
It's not like this hardware vendor has to sponsor a team to run on this hardware. Now we can have a cloud vendor, a national lab acting as a mentor and teaching the skills regardless of what vendors are sponsoring. So it's kind of a cleaner model going into that. Why don't you take us through some of the mentor work here?
And real quick, I just want to insert that you hit directly on one of the things I don't like about some of the existing cluster competitions is that some teams come in with 16 GPUs, right? And they can sneak those under the power cap. Other teams, 4, 5.
Well, I mean, I like all student cluster competitions.
Oh, I do
don't
too.
mean to say I don't, but we want to try to optimize for this format, and I really like how this is working.
And our mission here is that by the end of the competition, we want all of these students to be able to tell an interviewer that I have hands-on experience with running, profiling, and optimizing real-world HPC applications on real-world supercomputers.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we're going to work with the mentors to pick what's the system they're running on and what's the application. The mentor really takes that role,
selects
picking an application
absolutely.
and doing the training. Talk about that a little bit more.
Let's do that. Let's go into the mentors. We have 4 mentors this year, and actually, we probably could have had 5 or 6. I mean, this was warmly embraced by the community that we went out to. The first one up, and they're going to be starting on Monday, is HPE, and they're going to be mentoring the students on the HPCG and the LINPACK benchmarks.
Fantastic.
They're also going to be throwing in a lot of other training in addition to that, because they recognize that this is the first time many of these students are going to be exposed to this stuff. And so they're going to really help out. I'd also, last night, I posted HPC 101 and email blasted that out to the students. That's what our pals at BioTeam, who position themselves as SEAL Team 6 of HPC, they put together 4 videos going over the history of HPC, HPC concepts, and things like that. So big thanks out to them. So
yeah, BioTeam is kind of your Tim Gunn or Tom Colicchio, depending on what kind of reality competition you like to watch, the advisor that floats through all the competition and helps the students at every stage. Yeah.
They will be there to pull trucks out of the ditch if they need to be, or to give some tips on the side.
Big thanks to BioTeam and HPE for taking that first mentor slot. Then what's up next?
Absolutely. Next, after this next week, the students have a week off, decompress, take in some of the lessons, chill out, do a little training, get some rest, and hydrate.
Yeah, eat a granola bar.
Absolutely. Up next is NASA.
Hey.
Yeah. You've heard of them? And you
I have.
They're all about space. They're about research. And they know their way around HPC. And what NASA is going to have the students do is a subset of the NAS parallel benchmarks. More specifically, BTMZ, which is uneven size zones within a problem class. Don't know if
Which
you know
NASA
that.
is this? This is Ames doing
I believe
this?
This is Ames.
NASA Ames stepping up.
We're also going to be doing SPMZ, LUMZ. For you NASPAR fans out there, you'll know what I'm talking about. Me, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Boy, talk about some great experience.
Yes. And NASA is going to devote some serious hardware that we'll talk about later to it, but each team will have several nodes to work with. So that's great experience. After that, we have our pals at AWS from Amazon that have stepped up to mentor, and it'll be, of course, on the AWS cloud. We don't know the application yet, though.
We're working on it. They got a lot that they could choose from. I understand the cloud is versatile.
It can do some things, yes. But after there's still some time, because after NASA, the students get another week off.
A week on, week off, week on, week off. This is good because the kids sometimes have homework to do too.
They do, and they've got jobs.
Yeah.
They are stretched pretty thin, and they're devoting their own time to this. It's not
worth it for the career development, I think.
Exactly. And this will be very helpful to their career development. Our final sponsor needs no introduction to this audience, Oak Ridge National Lab.
Heard of them too.
Yes. And the students will be competing on a cluster there. We don't know the application yet, but I sort of get the sense, and the rumor mill's buzzing, that it's a little bit machine learning.
That'd be a great place to do that. They've got wonderful resources for machine learning and AI, the exposure to HPC. I look at this lineup with two major labs with Oak Ridge and NASA Ames, a cloud vendor with AWS, and a system vendor with HPE. What a great set of mentors for the students to get exposure to.
It's really
plus
fantastic.
BioTeam filling in the gaps and helping at every
BioTeam,
step of the way. Great
optimization
services, really fantastic. And big thanks to the mentors who are dedicating time and resources to helping the students through this. Now, it's not just the mentors. There's a sponsorship angle because there's some money that has to go into all of this too. And we've got 2 platinum sponsors who are already signed up. We'll do a separate rundown on all of the sponsors at a different time.
And we'll be interviewing all these.
Yeah, we'll interview all of them. We'll interview the mentors. We'll interview all the sponsors. But let's get quick thanks out to Oracle and Intel for taking on platinum sponsorships of this year's Student Cluster Competition, the Winter Classic Invitational.
Yeah, again, none of this would be possible. Putting on the competition, all the time that goes into it, the scholarships, all of that becomes possible with those platinum sponsors. And let's mention one other thing that is new this year. It's the HPC Jumpstart Award. And this is where one of the platinum sponsors will step up to the plate and provide a significant grant to help found an HPC lab or give HPC resources to the winning university.
We're also going to provide our own Bruckner Award scholarship in memory of our great friend, Rich Bruckner from Inside HPC, who is always a supporter of student cluster competitions. That'll come from us to a lucky winner.
That'll be $1,000 scholarship to one member of each team.
Fantastic.
That will be fantastic. Also, we should probably mention our media sponsor, who is helping us with getting all of this stuff, this content out to you. And that is our very good friends over at HPC Wire.
Absolutely. And, something I've always loved with HPC Wire and, of course, Tom Tabor, anything supporting diversity and inclusion in HPC, Tom has always been right there. And this is a topic he cares about. We're really looking forward to bringing you all of this content together with HPC Wire.
And they are the one-stop shop for student cluster competition information, particularly the 2022 Winter Classic Invitational Student Cluster Competition.
All right. Is that it, Dan? Have we covered it for the preview episode? Is that what people can expect for the Winter Classic Invitational 2022?
I believe so. Next show up, we're going to be doing the big reveal. Who's in? So stay tuned
at least
for that.
10 up to 12 teams. You're about to hear it from us. Hit the next video in this series and you'll see who's in as we kick off the 2022 Intersect 360 Research Winter Classic Invitational Student Cluster Competition. Thanks very much, Dan.
Thank you, Addison. Stay tuned, everybody.